all people of good sense know that that's a bad request.
Well, it's a good request that sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And you got to, sometimes as a feminist,
No.
I can't let people
Don't bring women into this. Don't bring women. No, don't bring women into this.
If I believe in something, I'm not going to take no for an answer.
You know what you're doing is you are white lady girl bossing, and you are doing microaggressions against me. That's what you're doing.
Megan, I leaned in to my computer.
Oh Lord.
And I made a theme song and I sent it to Allie and I had her put it in before the episode came out, and it's in the episode.
I don't like that.
Do you want to hear it?
No. Okay, dookie. More like okay, dookie. Good afternoon. This is the Afternoon Power Hour with Lindy and Meagan. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
Willkommen till show.
Oh, this afternoon in the Power Afternoon Hour, we have a German.
This afternoon in the Power Afternoon Hour, we have a German.
That's what I said. No, it's Text Me Back, of course. Your favorite podcast. I'm Meagan Hatcher-Mays.
And I'm Lindy West. And may I just say, Meagan, you look beautiful today.
Thank you. I did have to wear makeup today because I am meeting a friend/colleague for beverages right after this. We record at 3:00 my time, and I'm meeting this person at 5:30. And I was like, well, I guess I just have to look fancy for the podcast. But who's going to complain about that? Nobody.
Not me, that's for sure.
Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Not to make it dark immediately, but it feels so strange to just be like, do you want to go get drinks? When I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a metaphorical forest fire in the government,
Yes.
But
and you're at ground zero.
I am. And it just feels very crazy in DC right now. I think we all went into this a little bit optimistic, like, oh, we lived through a Trump once before.
Yeah.
We could do it again. I will tell you right now, it is way different than last time. It's a lot scarier. It just feels like the whole city is on the precipice of losing their job. It's very scary and strange,
This is not on the docket for today, but I have a question.
Go on.
Why didn't he do this last time? Because it doesn't seem like...
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like...
I don't know.
I know that some circumstances are different, but not that many. It just feels like last time he didn't think of it.
Yeah, well, I think that he is angrier this time than he was the first time that he won. And I think he really has like a thirst for vengeance.
Right.
In a way that he didn't necessarily have last time.
Right.
Because I think he feels like he was humiliated in 2020. And this is his chance to get people back for holding him accountable to the extent that he was held accountable, So... Yeah. And anyone who is currently trying to be held accountable is being threatened with being purged from their job, or have in fact already been purged from their jobs. And also, I think that he is more coordinated and more organized this time. Last time, I think his presidency was really marked by incompetence, and he still is. He personally is very incompetent, but now he has the backing of
he's got
conservative. Well, he's got big balls, which is like the main guy that you want for situations like this. But he's got like institutional backing that he didn't have last time. So like last time there's a lot of like never Trumpers among the like conservative nonprofit industrial complex, like your heritage foundations, for example. Those guys were like, I find his behavior distasteful, even though I agree with his end goal, but I find him distasteful. And he doesn't have that this time. He has like their full support. And in fact, the person he picked to run the Office of Management and Budget, which I know sounds like snooze, sleep, and boredom, but it is like one of the most critical agencies, like has broad authority for administering the entire federal budget. The person he put in charge of that was one of the authors of Project 2025 and used to work at the Heritage Foundation. So like those are the people, the types of people that he's stacking in government. And I think he's a little bit more far gone this time. Whereas like if somebody upstaged him, he'd get really mad and there would be a fight. And for some reason, that's not happening with Elon Musk. And I don't know why, because Elon Musk is making him look feckless, or to borrow a word from them, making him look like a cuck. And doesn't seem to mind. Like Elon Musk's son told him to shut up the other day while like picking his nose.
That's what I was about to say. Elon Musk's little toddler cucked the president.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
was the one who did it. And he wiped his little booger on the Resolute desk and walked off. And I was like, the Trump of 2016 simply would not have stood for that. You know what I mean? The Trump who fired Rex Tillerson while he was sitting on his toilet is not here anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I saw a lot of people because everyone's grasping for something to cling to. And I saw a lot of people be like, ooh, I can't wait for the Trump Elon breakup meltdown. And it's like, I don't know.
I thought it would have happened by now for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm like,
because he was fucking mean to Elon the first time around. He was like, he got on his knees and begged. All I had to do was ask. And this time he's like, thank you, Lord Father, for the Tesla contract. I don't know, it's just weird. It just feels like, I think that he might be more demented this time. And so he's just like less aware of what's going on around him, which allows like the kleptocrats to steal better and steal more.
Yeah, he thought that baby was Vladimir Putin.
He did.
And so when that baby said, I think you got a poopy in your panties, he said, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I agree. And I do.
And I need someone
to a diaper change. Do you take care of that or does someone else? That's what he said.
You know what I think about a lot is that one time in must have been 2016. I don't think I talked about this on the podcast before, but when I was on book tour with one of my books, it must have been Shrill, but I suppose it could have been Witches, but I think it was Shrill. And I was on book tour in Vancouver, and then I got a DM on Twitter from Grimes.
Oh,
and she said, I'm a big fan, and my mom and I are going to come to your reading. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, do you want to hang out after? And then I was like, I'm so tired, and I don't listen to your music.
You might have been the intervention we needed. This was the butterfly's wing beating.
This was Obama at the correspondence dinner or whatever.
Yeah. This is Seth Meyers writing that speech.
Yes. And I couldn't, and it wasn't even like I was like, oh, who's that? Like, I knew that people liked her and she was cool. I just was like, book tour makes me have dementia. And I was like, I can't.
Well, imagine
go
doing
anywhere,
just like the basic level of research you'd need to know to carry on a conversation with Grimes. Like, who wants to read Grimes' Wikipedia? No thanks.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But I regret that. That's one of my regrets.
You could have gotten her. Yeah.
What if
did she? Did you see her at the reading?
I didn't see her, but apparently she was there. Yeah, with her mom.
My God,
I know.
Grimes. Hey, it's not too late. We'll come to where you have to pay for the flight, but we will come there and we will talk to you about this because this is wild, babe. I'll bring an attorney because I think you deserve more custody than what you've got. Your son should not be wiping boogers on the Resolute desk, ma'am.
I was like, why is that son even there? Surely Grimes has squirreled that son away.
No, Grimes says that he took them. And because he's so rich, she can't get them back. That's what she said. She said it on X.com.
Why is she on X.com?
Because that's the only way she can see her kids. That's what she says. She said he posted a picture of her kids with some of his other kids because he has 12,000 kids.
Yeah.
And she was like, I have never seen this child. She had her kids were hanging out with kids of his that she had never met or ever seen. And I was like, oh Lord, oh God.
If you're
get an attorney, dear Grimes,
come on the show. I wish that we had hung out in 2017 and stayed friends because I would have said, girl, dump him.
DTMFA. If you're Grimes, will you call a best friend party phone? 703-829-0003 immediately? Actually, I'm about to give out my personal cell phone to Grimes only. If you're not Grimes, cover your ears because I'm about to give it out. This is not right. She performed at the inauguration too, like she sucks, but I feel like we could probably grab Grimes back from the brink. I don't know.
She probably had to perform at the inauguration so she could see
it. By the way, this is all alleged. This is satire. I don't know what's going on. We're just making stuff up.
You know what's funny about us, Megan? You know what's funny about us? Everything we say is satire.
I know.
Especially in our text messages to each other.
You hear that, lawyers? You'll never catch me now, Sam Alito, you rotted little bitch.
All right, let's do the show.
Should we start the show?
Let's do the show.
That was our first segment, which we're calling I'm Sad. Coming up today, exciting news. We're going to be, you know what I think we should call this segment? I think we should call this the Hot Take Alert, because we've got a hot take for you involving nepotism infants. That's right, nepo babies. You'll never guess what we think about them, actually.
And you know what? We segued into it so naturally with Elon having his toddler in the White House.
I know. And we'll talk about it in just 1 second, because guess what else?
What, Megan?
We're billboarding. That's right. We're professionals. Last week, we promised to play you a clip from old Loveline of a girl saying Chonkay, so you can decide whether or not it's another overdose situation where we built it up over the course of many years, or does she say it weird? It's up to you to decide.
Yes,
so you have to let us know how that goes.
And I'll tell you all about the detective work I had to do to track down the clip. It was grim.
We're also doing a follow-up. This is kind of quasi-related to Lindy's rebuilding year, but you talked about what we talked about last week. Hey, it's not toxic diet culture to decide how many faces you want to have on your head. And what you've decided is you just want one, but you feel like you have at least two.
Yep.
And so we got some advice from the listeners about what you should do about your many faces. Yep. So we're going to talk about that. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Lindy has another surprise micro segment, which I'm just seeing. I don't care for that. So we're going to talk about nepo babies. But first, I have some exciting news. I want to talk about something else just really quick first, which is our homegirls, and I guess homeboys, if I assume, at our favorite company, Magic Mind, who is sponsoring this segment. We love them so much, dude. They reached out to us a couple months ago, and they've been sending us little Magic Minds. In fact, Lindy and I got a subscription, a 3-month subscription to Magic Mind. And let me tell you, when they say Magic Mind, abracadabra, because it's like Brainestroni. I don't know her. Was my mind ever not magic? No, it works perfectly now. The gears are perfectly oiled due to Magic Mind.
Yes, I had built up several narratives in my head about what was wrong with me, and first I was like, do I have long COVID? Brainestroni. Is it the microplastics? Why can't I remember anything? Is it perimenopause? And then the answer was no. It was, I just needed Magic Mind. I needed my little juices.
It's crazy.
I needed a nap and I needed my little juices in my Magic Mind subscription.
I did need to go to the doctor, but that's a separate issue. But really, the shot of Magic Mind helped a great deal. And it's really convenient to have a subscription. They deliver it right to your little house, which is great because I don't leave my house. So if you're going to send my little magical potion directly to me, shout out to you, girl.
Absolutely. And don't even worry, because the cancellation process is easy. Not that you're going to want to. Just a simple click, no questions asked. And also, if you find that your mind is not becoming magic, which again, that's not what you're going to find.
I find that so hard to believe. I think you will. I think you'll find it to be magical.
But they do have a 100% money back guarantee for the first purchase. Also, no questions asked. And you don't have to send back the extra bottles.
It's so nice. And also, shipping is free. Hello.
That's
what
wild.
Are you waiting for? The subscription is great. It comes right to your door. Free shipping. It's amazing. And who doesn't love a company that loves Text Me Back? The podcast,
God, right?
And they love us, and we love them.
We're their best customers, and they're like, look, obviously we believe in our product, but when we watch these two women, we're like, thank God for us, thank God we exist. That's the company talking.
They said, you all have the least magical minds of any podcast we've ever worked with. So we just want to see what happens.
Yeah. So the subscriptions, it comes in you can get a case of 15 bottles or a 30 bottle case. You take one per day or every other day, depending on how much magic you need in your mind. Mm-hmm. And we got a coupon code even.
Oh, we do. Yeah. You can get your subscription at magicmind.com/textmeback, and you can get up to 48% off with our code textmeback20. So please do that and allow your mind to reach the heights of magic that you heretofore could never have believed. Okay.
Okay.
And speaking of magic, let's talk about Nepo babies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just meditating on nepotism recently due to events and Nepo babies. And I have a hot take that I feel like our listeners might not be expecting, but I need to say something. I have no problem with Nepo babies. That's right. I said it. I don't have a problem with them. Now, listen, let me back up for a second. I feel like this whole Nepo baby thing kicked off with a nugget of something that is true. It is annoying when somebody unqualified and dumb gets a job that you are qualified and smart for just because their dad is rich or their dad is the boss or whatever. And then whole industries are run by idiots who don't know anything, but they are like Steven Spielberg's son or something. That's real and annoying.
Also,
however,
it's also annoying when a Nepo baby will be like, they like change their last name and then they're like, yeah, I just got here myself. I worked really hard and no one helped me.
I mean, I went on so many auditions.
That's annoying.
Okay.
I get it.
Fine. You went on so many auditions, and what did you pay in rent while you were going on those auditions, ma'am? So yeah, that's all really annoying. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is just every person who has famous parents is a Nepo baby and should be excommunicated from society. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or like, they shouldn't be able to be on television at all because their mom or dad is an actor. Here's what I have to say about that. If they're a bad actor, I agree with you. But like, for example, nobody ever says that about like the HVAC guy. Like, my HVAC guy that I use is called Michael and Son. And when my HVAC is acting up, I call Michael or his son, and one of them comes over and fixes it. I don't care. In fact, I love it. I love to see it, because if you are the son of Michael, you've been training at the knee of the master. I assume you're amazing at HVAC repair. You're his son. You know,
sometimes it's even better to get the son if Michael's busy. Because the son's got energy. He's hungry. He wants to impress his father, Michael.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have actually, and again, another caveat. We're not talking about Donald Trump dismantling democracy and making Barron the king.
We're not. No one's
the crown.
No
prince.
one is talking. No one is talking about him installing Donald Jr. as Speaker of the House. No one is talking about that.
But what drives me nuts is when people are like, can you imagine? It's so unfair and corrupt that like Cindy Crawford's daughter gets to be a supermodel. Like, yeah, well, the job is to be hot, and two of the hottest people in the world had sex and a baby came out.
And now that baby is an adult who's really beautiful.
And then she was
job.
Also, and this applies to actors. It's like, oh, you were raised like immersed in this weird industry, and all of your parents' friends are actors and models, and you like became interested in it and learned sort of like, you've
your
learned
mom,
like the subtle language of that industry, and I don't know.
Have fun. Is that not the same as an internship at the end of the day? Like, I don't understand. Like, people get so mad about the Please Don't Destroy guys on SNL because one of their dads is the guy from Jimmy Fallon who used to be on used to write for SNL, and the other one's dad is Herlihy's son, of course,
son of Herlihy.
And son of Higgins. And it's like, I'm sorry, but they are funny. You want to know why? Because their parents are funny.
Right.
I don't know. Like, they're good at writing for SNL because their dads wrote on SNL. I get that it's like feeding into a feedback loop where no one new or interesting breaks into the industry. Again, I am not saying that I like that. But what I am saying is, Nepo babies, just as a knee jerk. It's like, that's Susan Sarandon's son. Of course he's in the movie. What do you want? What else do you want these kids to do? Be scientists? Would that be preferable? You want Martin Herlihy to make vaccines? I don't know why I'm so mad about this.
Well, I remember when Girls came out. I feel like you've been mad about this for years, because I remember us talking about when Girls came out and everyone was like, the daughter of one of the drummers from Cheap Trick. Of course she was cast in this or whatever. And it's like, yeah,
that's not even the same industry. What are you talking about?
I don't know. You guys, I think it might be okay.
I think people said the same thing about Allison Williams, like, oh, nepo baby, because her dad is Brian. Like, Brian, the newscaster? He called Lena Dunham, you think?
People even said it about Lena Dunham. People were like, Lena Dunham is the daughter of the artist, what's his name, Dunham. Yeah, I've never heard of that guy.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know him. I don't know.
Or somebody was trying to say that Timothy Chalamet is a nepo baby because his mom was a producer on like Party of Five or something. And I was like, this is such a reach, you guys. Really, you need to get a fucking grip. This is madness. Why are you so mad? I hate rich people as well, but let's focus up. I think we should let some people be actors if they want. I don't care where they came from.
Look,
you know?
Are they doing a good job? Are they pretty? That's what they're supposed to be doing.
That's the main job.
I don't know.
Should Hollywood do more to foster new talent that isn't the producer of Party of Five's son? For sure.
Yes.
For sure. But I think there's room for everyone. I don't know. I just want to know what the alternative is. Timothy Chalamet becomes the ambassador to the UN?
You know what?
Please.
You know what it's like? Sort of. It's like the Canadians booing the national anthem. It's like, I agree with you in principle, but these people already exist.
I don't know
what do you want
about it. I mean, it's just like, again, if they're funny enough to write on SNL, I don't think we have a complaint to register just because one of them's son of Herlihy. I don't know.
Also, name 5 Herlihy credits.
Name 2 Herlihys. How about that? We'll make it easy for you.
Herlihy's first name. Is it
I don't
Dan
even
or
remember.
Is it Tim?
I think it might be Tim. And I say that as somebody who used to record every single episode of SNL onto VHS tape. And I don't even remember what Herlihy's first name was. I was like 80-20. It was Tim.
Yeah.
But I didn't
pretty
click
sure
the
it's
link.
Tim, but here's another thing I'll say. A lot of celebrities have kids that are losers.
This is such an important point. Please speak on this.
It's not even like a guarantee. You do still have to go to Tisch or whatever. And like, you know what I mean?
You gotta waste all of Eddie Van Halen's money on a Tisch education just to play backup guitar to Slash at the Oscars. It's not that exciting. You know what I mean? Like, that's the job you want? Okay. Whatever, bro.
Yeah, I think that it's important in these times that we defend
the rich.
That we defend the most vulnerable in society, the children of movie stars and moguls.
Wolfgang Van Halen.
Who are being mildly roasted 5 years ago when this was a topic.
Can I just say, I know. It was just bothering me. This is the stupidest segment we've ever done. I just had to get this off my chest. But can I say something? The Nepo babies are, it's like, listen, I'm rooting for you guys, but you guys are being fucking awful. Like, because every Nepo baby will give an interview being like, what? I worked so hard. It's like, shut the fuck up, Dakota Johnson. No, you didn't. Because when people complain about Nepo babies, they're really talking about you because you are not good at acting. You did not have to do any work. She's only good at acting when she is playing the character who hates everything because that's just how she is.
Wow.
Like if she's just plays a misanthrope, then she's good at it. But otherwise, leave her alone.
How quickly you turned on Nepo babies.
I know. Well, it's just the one. It's just that one because I feel like that one's justified. But if you're going to come at a Nepo baby, I feel like bring the juice. I don't know.
You know, Dakota Johnson is a great example, actually. Nepo baby, daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith, has a brother.
Oh,
named Jesse Johnson, named Jesse Johnson, that I went to college with, and also son of Don Johnson. not famous.
Not famous.
Although I
you
think
may never have heard of Jesse
He has
J.
a few credits. I think he's done.
I actually was
modeling.
just looking him up the other day because I was so curious what happened to him. I was like, remember when Lindy went to Occidental with Don Johnson's son?
I sure do.
And he has a couple producer creds, I think.
Yeah, but he's no Dakota Johnson.
No, he's no Dakota Johnson. Well, because she is like the triple nepo because her grandmother is Tippi Hedren.
Right, that's true.
So she got the triple double.
That's how
nepo
she got the
surprise.
triple double. So what have we learned
Anyway,
today?
What I think we've learned is, I don't know, shut up or don't. I don't know. Everything is so hard. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care if Reese Witherspoon's child wins an Academy Award next year for a movie that sucks. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
I don't care.
And I say, keep training up your sons to fix my stuff because that's really important too.
If you're Michael and son and you are listening to the podcast, come talk to us. We'd love to hear what you have to say about Apple Martin.
It's really
and whether or not she should get to be one of those girls at the Oscars who walks back and forth on the stage.
That's a perfect job for a nepo baby.
I think that's where they all start.
That's where they all start. It's just by walking back and forth.
That's the farm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the minor leagues. And then they get called up to the movies. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, there was no point to any of this. I just really needed to share that. I would rather have the nepo babies contained in Hollywood than, making my dinner.
Exactly.
They're not good at cooking.
I don't want them certifying the elevator maintenance in my building.
You want them at NASA? You want them working on the space shuttle, doing the calculations for space? You want them
how
to
much
make space
oxygen?
plans?
How much oxygen does he need?
Sorry, is that what you want?
Let's ask Coco Cox Arquette.
You want Dan Levy to make some space plans?
Where's Suri Cruz? Suri, how long of a cord does the astronaut need to be plugged into the spaceship?
You want Sunday Urban Kidman issuing Social Security payments? Is that what you want?
Hey, Violet Affleck, I'm having a hard time figuring out the health plan exchange. Do I want an HMO? Do I want bronze?
Bronze or silver? Do you have a recommendation? Zuma Rossdale Stefani? Any thoughts on how to fund our transportation system?
Look, they could though. Come on.
I don't know. Or you could just let them hit a drum. It's fine. It's fucking fine. It'll be fine.
I don't know.
That's a segment we're calling The Hot Take Alert with No Point, starring Lindy and Meagan.
All right, a 1 and a 2. Let's hear your improvised theme song. A 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3.
I can't do it. My mother is not Gwen Stefani. This is why we need the nepo babies. Zuma Rossdale Stefani could 1-2 skidoo you.
Please, if you're Zuma Rossdale Stefani, please call in with a theme song for this segment. Please. It's called
703-829-0003.
The segment is called Hot Take from 2014 that nobody cares about. Wait, what was it? What is it actually called?
A Hot Take Alert. That has no point and doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Starring Lindy and Meagan.
Up next, we're going to be talking about Lindy's surprise micro segment.
Oh, God. I'm so scared. Just turn off the podcast now. This is as good as it's going to get. We'll be right back. We're back for Lindy's surprise micro segment.
This is just a real quick one, Meagan.
Okay.
And it's part of it is it's to assuage my guilt because I did a dirty one. I did a dirty, stinky doo-doo.
Ew.
Metaphorically, on you, in your life. I doo-dooed in your life.
What are you talking about? Stop. Don't. I don't like this. What's going on?
I tricked you. I did a fraud and I tricked you. And I'm going to come clean. Okay? And it's that. And I didn't.
This podcast isn't real and we've never uploaded a single episode? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Everyone on the Discord is me.
Oh my God.
All the Patreon money comes from me.
It's because you're a nepo baby. Your grandfather worked for a radio station in Los Angeles.
True. CBS Radio. He protected it from the killer. No. After we recorded last week's episode, and then Aham Mayfule, our Czar of Sound Force, recorded a special segment we're calling Dong Exploder. And then we had a little fight about whether or not it should be called Dong Exploder because you don't like that.
I don't like that.
And then we sent the episode to Allie with all of our notes. Allie edited the episode. She put in Aham's segment. The episode was done. You signed off on the episode. Then I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I made a Dong Exploder theme song?
Oh.
Because I had asked Aham to help me make one, and he said no. Which I
he
feel
was
like
right to say it. He was right to say it.
He was
right to say it.
He was in league with you. I feel like you guys talked.
I've done not a thing. It's just that all people of good sense know that that's a bad request.
Well, it's a good request that sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And you gotta, sometimes as a feminist,
no.
I can't let people
Don't bring women into this. Don't bring women. No, don't bring women into this.
If I believe in something, I'm not gonna take no for an answer.
You know what you're doing is you are white lady girl bossing and you are doing microaggressions against me. That's what you're doing.
Megan, I leaned in to my computer.
Oh Lord.
And I made a theme song and I sent it to Allie and I had her put it in before the episode came out and it's in the episode.
I don't like that.
Do you want to hear it?
No. I don't.
Do you have it?
Down.
No, it exploded.
Oh my God.
Exploder.
Oh my God. That's so no.
No, it exploded. Dang exploder.
Who is that saying dong?
Megan, I paid money to sign up for a voice modification app.
Oh my God. Because Aham was so against this, you couldn't even get him to say the word dong into a microphone.
No, he wouldn't do it.
You.
But that at the end, that is a real robot.
Shut the fuck up.
Do you have it?
Down.
No.
Oh, wow.
It exploded.
Oh, it exploded.
Exploder.
Is that Socrates at the end? Is that Socrates?
Yeah. Yes. See, he's a friend from your youth, and he's here with a message.
God.
Called Dog Exploder. But
fortunately, no other music exists that we ever need to talk about. So we'll get no use out of the theme song.
It was a really popular segment, Megan. Many people
I don't think so.
Have said we should.
Well, the segment was very funny, but then you ruined it.
Megan.
With Dong Exploder.
It tells a little story. It's like someone asks if someone...
No, it doesn't. If you were like, oh, here's our new segment, Dong Exploder, people would be like, is it a porno? What are you talking about? But no, it's a song analysis segment, of course, which you can get from the quote unquote pun in the title. By the way, someone very nicely, very kindly tried to save you in the Discord by being like, oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it exploded. Dang exploder. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm going to mute you and I'm going to log off. Somebody very kindly tried to save you in the Discord by being like, oh, I thought it was a mashup of Dog Thoughts and Song Exploder. That was very nice of them to say, but it's not true. It isn't true. That's not what it is. You're just nasty. You're nasty.
I meant that the
Disgusting.
jingle tells a story, which is
No.
that someone wants to know if the person has dong, and then the person checks, and then they're crestfallen. They say no. Well, first there's an explosion noise.
The quote unquote person is sad.
They say
Yes.
no, it exploded.
Yeah, and when
then-
you hear it, you think, "Oh, is this about songs?"
Well, you do
Because
think
of the
that,
use of the word "dong."
but you do think that it does evoke that if you're familiar with the podcast Song Exploder.
It doesn't. No, invoke.
Okay,
that.
you know what?
It invokes dong.
Can I abandon this train of thought and just say, does it matter if it makes sense? Or can it just be something?
It matters to me because now I have to hear it all the time because now you know how to use the media board. And I don't like that. I don't like it. Oh, God. Okay. And that was Lindy's micro segment. And it's also the end of the podcast.
No.
Because Meagan is disappearing now.
Are you mad
the
at me?
woods.
Really? Are you?
Yes.
You forgive me? Because
No.
I could have just never told you. You might never have heard it. I was racked with guilt because I perpetrated a stinky fraud, like I said at the beginning.
Well, you should feel guilty.
But now I've come clean. So the rule is that you have to forgive me.
No, I don't think that is a rule that's been established by society or by human beings.
If you like the theme song for Dong
No,
Exploder,
that's not fair because everyone is just going to write and be like, I love Shrill and everything you say is right.
it would be so mean if people were like, Megan's right. I thought it was bad.
It would actually kick ass. And you should all do that. It would be so funny. It would hurt Lindy's feelings so bad.
I worked on that theme song for like 20 minutes. You know what, Megan, you better frickin' think about how you want to talk to me now that I have unfettered access to the voice modification library.
Do you know that I can quit this podcast at any time?
No, Megan.
At any time I want?
No,
We
Megan.
don't have a culture. Oh my God. Not Socrates, please. Please. Not
Megan,
Socrates. Not
I
Socrates.
miss you.
Oh, I cry. I'm crying. Dong exploder. Beep boop boop beep beep boop boop boop.
Because they
Anyway.
had sound effects. They have sound effects in Descript that you can use.
Great. How much did that cost you?
What do you mean? Zero? Oh, the thing? It was like $7.99. I could just cancel it.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to remember?
No. So who's really being punished here, Megan?
Still me.
No.
Still me. Well, that's Lindy's micro segment. I hated it. Let us know how you feel about it in the email, in the DMs, wherever you like. If you're the titular dong, send us an email. Dear text me back.
Are you okay?
gmail.com.
Have you recovered from the explosion?
Are you okay? Lindy wants to know if you've recovered from the explosion, which had
And if
something
you're
to do with
that-
music.
If you're that robot that's going around exploding dongs, why I oughta.
I'm not going to stop you. I think you should keep doing it.
Megan, I'm
You
getting
deserve
mixed
it.
signals from you. Do you like Dong Exploder or do you not like it?
I don't like it. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Thank you for respecting my boundary.
And that's Lindy's surprise Dong Exploder jingle micro segment.
I thought you were going to play the song again.
No, you asked me not to.
When has that ever fucking stopped you?
Right now, be a good friend. Like, oh my God.
We'll be right back. Well, friends, here we are. We've all recovered, sort of, from Dong Exploder, but unfortunately, the media board isn't done. Last week, we were talking about how, Well, Lindy and I were both avid listeners of Loveline, and actually, I think that you got me hooked on it because I don't think I listened to it
may
before.
have. Yeah.
And Dr. Drew and Adam had a show. Was it every night or was it just Saturdays?
Every night. Can you imagine if we did this
that's
podcast
crazy.
every night?
Oh my God. You would never see me again. I would have passed away.
For like 3 hours. Like each episode was so long.
Yeah. And people would call in and ask for like sex advice, relationship advice, et cetera, et cetera. This was before Dr. Drew and Adam both went apeshit. And it is true that they have gone extremely apeshit today. Yeah. But they were actually like kind of bad at the time too. But some of the advice was like solid. I don't know. And they were funny. I used to think that they were both funny. Yeah. But I assume none of it really stands up.
Well, okay. So I was thinking about this earlier today. I was listening to some old Loveline and like it's very bad. Like Adam says very bad things. And Adam now is like a full right wing. Yeah,
he started out as sort of like a free speech on campus guy, which seemed like pretty easy to dismiss when it first started happening. But it turns out the free speech on campus guys are the same as like the fascists who are in charge now. So it was like, we should have taken all of that a lot more seriously, but it was like, whatever. But he came like a big like college kids are snowflakes guy. And now I think he is like even more off the deep end, although I've kind of lost track of where he's at currently.
Last I heard was that when Donald Trump blamed the fires on DEI or whatever in LA, and he was like, I tried to go fight fires, but they said I wasn't allowed to because I'm white or something.
That's what they said. It wasn't that he was 60. It wasn't that he was 60 fucking 2 years old. It was that he was white.
And I'm sure you did volunteer to go fight the fires.
He ran over to Pacific Palisades and was where's my gear?
But I was listening to these old episodes and there are parts where Adam says something like really disgusting. And then there's lots of racist stuff. You know, it's like that culture in the 90s where like it's a joke and he's making fun of every race, and so it's fine.
Back in the 90s we used to call that political correctness, and now they've rebranded it as like wokeness or DEI. It's like all the same stuff. They just like spin the wheel and it's the same thing that they've always pretended to be mad about, but really at the end of the day what they're really mad about is racial integration. So I don't, they just like keep coming up with new words for I don't want to integrate. Or like just new sentences for I would like to resegregate society. And currently those words are wokeism and DEI. But in the 90s it was political correctness. And there was like a little bit of a strange pride, I think, among comedians for like who could be the least politically correct. And it was like definitely under the veneer of like, it's just a joke. We just want to see how far we can go. And it's like, it's not fucking funny to me, dude.
No,
because now you all are the president and you believe that still.
And you believe that women should make 40 cents on the dollar, and we'd be lucky to get that because we're so stupid. so he's saying all kinds of stuff like that. But then then Adam will sometimes say something that's so nuanced and kind. And then I was like, that's not a thing that happens with conservatives anymore. Like Adam made this big speech about how this woman had been the victim of some kind of assault. I didn't actually hear the question. And I think she had said that thing about how she doesn't want to identify as a victim because that's weak or something. And and Adam was like, it's okay to be a victim. It just means that somebody else victimized you. Yeah. And like, that's not what conservatives say now.
No.
In the 90s, you could be like a conservative who also had independent thought. I don't know. And I know that's what they say about us, but it was just sort of interesting.
I know. Well, I think that there just was maybe a little bit more of a cultural fluency among both subsets of people that there really isn't now. There's like an actual outright hostility to from especially flowing from the right to the left about like culture and power. Remember, it was very cutesy, like, oh, Mary Matlin and James Carville are married, even though one's a Republican and one's a Democrat. And it's like, that's kind of what I mean, where it's like today that would be psychotic and like existential for me to marry somebody who's a Republican. But at the time it was kind of like thought of as sort of it was a novelty for sure, but it was also just sort of one of those things like, despite our differences, we can still do X, Y, Z. I'm not trying to paint this like rosy picture of the 90s, but just today you simply would not see something like that trotted out as some sort of cutesy, like human interest story, because it's like one of you wants to kill the other one legislatively. Like that's what you want as a matter of policy. One of you wants the other one dead, you know?
Right.
And so that wasn't as, I don't know. It was just different. I mean, I really don't want to look back with like rose colored glasses because it was a dark time. I think a lot of people do. A lot of people will just be like, well, I literally saw this the other day. Someone on Reddit was like, it's just crazy. Like there was just no racism back then. And I was like, what? Have you heard of Rodney King? Remind me what year that happened. Keep me posted. Anyway, so look, it was real. Shit was bad, but
the orthodoxy wasn't as strong. A person could contain more than one kind of opinion.
Yeah. We accidentally got a little deep on this segment because all we wanted to do was play you this drop that we thought was funny. But I think it's important for people to have the context. But like this thing that used to happen where people would call in, and I feel like they used to entertain each other by guessing like what was wrong with the person. Like somebody would call in and be like, I'm 21 and I've never had a boyfriend. And Dr. Drew would be like, you're fat, you're overweight. And the person would be like, yeah, basically like you guessed it, I'm fat. And I think they did that to this one girl. They're like, are you fat? And she said, I'm a little bit chunky. And Lindy and I have been saying chunky
for years,
for 25 years now. And we were nervous. Last week we talked about this. We were a little bit nervous. We had overdosed it and maybe built it up in our minds. But
and
Lindy,
if you're not a regular listener, that's a reference to another thing.
Good billboard.
Yeah, thank you. Another phrase that Megan and I got obsessed with, which was in The People versus Larry Flint, Courtney Love says, no, Larry, you're going to overdose. I already gave you twice your dose.
She's referring, of course, to heroin.
and then over the course of 20 years, it morphed into being, no, Larry, you're going to overdose. I already gave you twice your dose.
I already gave you twice your dose. So you're going to overdose.
And then we went back and watched it. And at most, she says it kind of weird.
40% weird.
Oh,
people wrote in and said it was upwards of 70 to 80% weird. So
okay.
I think we should go with that. Yeah, I think we should go with that. So we were curious if Chonkay was kind of the same.
We brought back Chonkay and we were like, what if we've done it again? Did we done it again? Because we did done it again that other time.
Yeah, we did.
I have dug it up, and that's why I was listening to a bunch of freaking Loveline this morning, getting depressed. And here it is.
I'm kind of like Chonkay.
Nailed it. This is not an overdose situation. She says it, Chonkay.
I'm kind of like Chonkay.
She straight up says Chonkay. Validation for Text Me Back podcast. We've done it.
Validation. I await my certificate from the board.
From the board of podcast. From the Chonkay board of podcast. I look forward.
And Loveline really is where I learned to abuse the media board, because they took that clip of that girl saying Chonkay, and then they would play it. And so then instead, when someone would call up and be like, I've never had a boyfriend, eventually they don't even have to ask, are you fat? They would just play the drop.
Chonkay.
And to signify that they believed.
I'm kind of like Chonkay.
That the caller was Chonkay.
By the way, if you're that girl, if you're Chonkay,
oh my
will you call us? I have been so curious about you for so long, and I want to know everything about you. I want to see pics. Do you have a dog? Do you have kids? Did you buy a house?
Are you still Chonkay?
703-829-0003. I want to hear from you. How hard was it to find the Chonkay clip?
Okay, so first I was like Googling, Loveline, Chonkay, drop. And that
did you spell it phonetically?
Yeah, I did. And then I was like, well, maybe people didn't spell it like that. So then I was just doing regular chunky, and it was just giving me like full episodes of Loveline. So I was sort of like, I was having Google do like an auto transcript, and then I was like skimming the transcript for anyone talking about being fat. And then I was like, they did this show 5 days a week for 20 years.
I don't have 47 years in my life left to go through all these episodes.
Although they did, because they used the drop so much, I did find one instance of them using the drop. And I thought that that's the best I was going to get. Yeah. But then I was like, okay, maybe having Chonkay in the search is not helping me out. searched Loveline drop library.
Smart.
Because that's, especially in early internet, that's like what people used the early internet for, was to like nerds would just catalog the stuff that they liked. And so, yes, indeed, I found a Reddit thread where someone was like, here is my Loveline drop library that I have curated. And it's a Google Drive. And then people are like, oh, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. So I click on it. It's private.
Oh,
you got to be invited.
Ugh.
And then I say, I say to myself, and this is also like a 5-year-old thread.
Yeah.
This may not even exist anymore. And I say, I'm doing it for the podcast. And I send a request for access
to an 8-year-old document, probably. Who knows if they'll ever see it, if they'll ever respond. And yet, guess what happened? You got access. Immediate response. And it came to the podcast email. So I got the notification. I was like, ASAP. They were
I wrote it when you can add a little message when you send a Google Drive access request. And I said, I am looking for the drop of the girl who says that she's a little bit Chonkay. And then the person, I'm assuming it's a guy,
probably
responded and said, yep, we have it. He was so excited. We have it. It's called Chonkay.mp3. And indeed, it was spelled CHUNKAY. And he gave
more validation for the Text Me Back podcast.
And there it was. I found it.
And there she was. After all
there
these...
she was.
I'm kind of like Chonkay.
And then I skimmed through the library. There are many things, many, it brought back many memories. And also cemented for me that this was a dark time.
It was a toxic stew.
A toxic stew, and white men were the chef. And the rest of us ate the stew, and we got what we could out of it.
I think some of us were in the stew.
Yeah.
That the other ones ate. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're in the stew cooking, but we also have a spoon.
It's like when you go to a barbecue restaurant and the mascot is a pig.
Yes.
He's cooking his friends. Yeah. That was like, us.
He's like slicing into his tummy with a fork and knife, being like, yum,
chomp,
eat me.
That was us with all culture in the 90s.
And it's like, okay. And we're extending the metaphor. Some of us are more submerged in the stew than others.
Yeah.
Some of us are so submerged that we're dead and we can't even taste the stew.
Correct.
Some of us, like me, white woman, I'm sitting on a little diving board with just my tootsies cooking in the stew.
Your
I'm a little bit deep. That's where I thought I was, I think, in the 90s, but I think I'm waist deep.
Yeah, waist deep. I think I probably was waist. I have some offsetting identities, so I think I was probably waist deep or so. Yeah.
So, God bless this girl.
I'm kind of like Chonkay.
I love you.
And I will say, God bless also the guy who runs the Loveline drop library.
Thank you.
You'd also preserved another important piece of history, which is when Snoop Dogg was on.
Oh.
And Adam had made up a name for himself, like a rap pseudonym, which was Mayonnaise, because he's white.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked Snoop Dogg to call him Mayonnaise. And then Snoop Dogg said,
that's my main mayonnaise.
Our number one intrusive thought from the years 2000 to 2004.
That's my main mayonnaise.
Thank you, Snoop
and
Dogg.
Now, in 2025, Snoop Dogg is in league with Donald Trump to dismantle the federal government.
That's what mayonnaise wanted all along.
Oh my God.
Snoop Dogg failed the first test. It was rebuking mayonnaise. Well, thank you, Chonkay girl, and thank you to mayonnaise. That's my main mayonnaise.
That's my main mayonnaise.
My main mayonnaise. God. Ugh, R.I.P. to whoever said that. Up next, we're going to be talking about Lindy's many faces. Stay tuned. Okay. Also, last week, I guess this is sort of like a clip show. Because we're like, remember when we went down to the coffee shop and then it like does the wavy?
It is.
And then we have a memory.
Yeah, because we're trapped in the walk-in freezer.
We're trapped in the walk-in freezer. Exactly. We're trapped in the podcast room. So last week also, we talked a little bit about having too many faces. Sometimes Lindy feels like she has a face on top of her face on top of her head. And we were like, is it toxic diet culture to Google depuff face, just face, not body? And we decided that it's not toxic diet culture to do that. But some of you guys also wrote in with some tips and tricks. And like the leading ones were jade roller and gua sha. I don't know gua sha, but I looked it up and it's sort of like a sort of guitar pick shaped thing, like thing, plastic thing that you sort of like, yes, like press on your face, and it's supposed to like redistribute kind of the puffiness. Yeah. And it's supposed to help, not permanently, but people seem to like it. And then you said you have a jade roller.
I do. Yeah. What I've learned from our Text Me Backalates giving feedback on this is that the face is a bag of juice.
Yes.
And with the right tools, you can squish the juice out into other parts of the body.
You can pour the juice into the neck or even the chest.
The nodes.
Into the nodes. It will come back, but also I would say even if it doesn't work, it does feel kind of good to just like roll something on your face. A little. Yeah. Like a little refrigerated jade roller. It's nice.
So I have a jade roller. It's not jade, it's rose quartz.
Oh.
And it was given to me actually by Broad City's Abby Jacobson.
Oh.
Because
okay.
Because
oh my God. Your jade roller is a nepo baby.
Oh my God. No.
Out of the class. Close the schools. This because I stand.
I had lunch with her in Portland. And she was like, somebody gave me this and I already have one and I don't have room for it in my bag. And she gave it to me. Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to get. Sometimes this happens with me and you because you like sometimes you get stuff and you'd be like, I don't want this. Do you want this? And I'll be like, hell yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like that's what I need in my life is just like we both need this, like someone who's more famous than you, who gets like the next level of gifts that they don't want. And then we can really be in business. Like my favorite time that this happened was when you got invited to like Sam B's alternative White House Correspondents' Dinner, which was here in DC, and you came out here and we went together. Although they were like, your friend's not allowed to sit at your table. She has to sit in the bleachers. That. It was really strange, but I was like, whatever. And then they gave you a gift bag that had like 5 free SoulCycle classes and a pair of those special socks that don't slip and like a 6-month subscription to Book of the Month. Oh. And you were like, do you want this? And I was like, are you crazy? Hell yeah, I want this. And I got a lot of good books out of it. So that's what we need.
Yeah.
If you're famous and you get free stuff you don't want,
Zuma.
Hello. Zuma Rossdale Stefani. Hello, bitch. Aren't you glad I didn't say Kingston? He gets all the attention. And I'm talking just to you, Zuma. So anyway.
Call us.
So did you use the roller? Sorry, Abby Jacobson gave you the roller and it changed your life? Or
no.
Oh no.
Well, no, but I just don't have the discipline. I'm gonna start using it. I haven't tried since the Text Me Backalites told me. It's very beautiful, so it just sort of sits in pride of place on my vanity. But I feel like I need to watch a tutorial because I'm always like, what if I squish the juice in the wrong direction? And it like
is there like a route you should take on the face? Yeah, that's actually a good question.
Because what if I pushed it all up into my forehead and it made my forehead a big sack?
And you had a 5 head.
Yeah, well, like that dinosaur, you know? With the,
yes, I always hated that guy.
He's unsettling.
He's not cute. I feel like I've heard that refrigerating it at least feels nice. Yeah. Like having it be a little cold, but I don't know.
Like, it's one of those things that straddles the line between magic and science where I'm like, yes, I know that the lymphatic system is real.
That's what they say.
I know I have lymph nodes because they're often swollen because I'm sickly and decrepit. Now, I know that this roller exists. Do I believe that the roller reaches across the line from magic into science and actually does redistribute the face juice into so that it can be processed by the nodes?
The only way to know is for you to perform a double-blind study on yourself. and let us know the results. So you have some research to do. You got to find out which way to roll the face juice.
Yeah.
And then use it for like a week and let us know how it went. By the way, text me back, lights, if you're a roller expert and you know the route that the roller should take vis-a-vis the face juice.
Yeah.
Give us a call, 703-829-0003, or you could email us, deartextmeback@gmail, or you could DM us on Instagram. We're still on there, by the way. So,
because it could be one of those things where it's like correlation is not causation, where it's like when people get really into the face roller, they are also doing other things that are good for them.
Drinking more water, etc.
They're moisturizing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like could be that when you're in a face juice, when you're in a jade roller era, you're also in your self-care, wellness, early skincare era. So I don't know, but here's what I'll do. Here's what I can promise. I don't do any of that other stuff. Drink water, put on moisturizer.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. I will be conducting the very first scientific study of the jade / rose quartz roller, which is just rolling it with nothing else. So we can find out.
Yeah, it's true. People do come up to you and they'll be like, I've seen this happen. They'll be like, your skin is so beautiful. Like, drop the routine and you're like, dial soap bar.
Literally.
Washcloth.
Literally, I scrub it with a washcloth and Dove soap, a bar soap that I also use on my armpits. So
Dawn dish soap. I guess maybe.
You know what I love and that I wish I knew how to get? I love that freaking old timey powder soap, the sand.
Oh my God. Yes. They had it at like all the park bathrooms in Seattle when we were kids. And it was this powder and it came out and then you'd make it wet and it would make soap. Oh, that stuff rocked.
Yeah. You must be able to, it has to be the cheapest soap of all. So like I should be able to get it, but I think you got to have that dispenser where you push up on the
Yeah, it's like a little spoon that does,
it's like a little spoon.
And then it falls out of the little hole. If you're the Seattle Parks Department, will you call us and let us know how to get that weird soap? That shit was amazing.
Also, while we're addressing local government, if you work for Seattle, I don't know, Department of Transportation, I guess, ports, I have an idea which is called Writer in Residence on the Ferry, parentheses Lindy. Let me sit in a booth on the ferry all day and ride back and forth and work on my book.
That's an amazing idea. And Amtrak did that once.
They did?
Somebody got to write a book on an Amtrak. I don't know who it was.
That should be me also.
That should be you, but on a ferry.
But on a ferry. Come on. I think it's a great idea. I volunteer. You don't have to pay me a stipend. Just let me sit there all day.
Yeah, just a free ticket on the ferry is really all she requires.
1 cup of Ivar's clam chowder an hour.
Oh, now we're bargaining. Hey, well, guess what? I might have a line on something for you because guess who followed me on Blue Sky yesterday?
Who?
Former governor of Washington State, Jay Inslee. And I said, you're not going to like this. You're not going to like this. I'll tell you right now, you're not going to like it. I say, turn it around, Jay. You are not going to like what you find here.
Maybe he is going to like it.
I don't think so. So
this could be like, this is like a Lindy and Grimes moment.
This could be my chance. If I don't radicalize Jay Inslee in the proper direction, he could become the next Grimes. He'll never see his kids again. We don't know, allegedly. So I'll send him a DM and be like, you got a line into WizDot.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on there.
That's what I'm looking for. WizDot.
Yeah, looking for WizDot. WashDot. Keep us posted. If you're Jay Inslee, check your DMs because I'm sliding in vis-a-vis the ferry. Anyways, so that, friends, is how many faces does Lindy have? Still just the one, but it could be fewer.
Yeah, I'd like to get into the negatives. Negative one face.
I just want one half of one face. That's all I want.
No,
we'll keep you posted.
Don't manifest that. One is fine.
Just the one face, but you feel like you have at least two, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let us know how to do the routes on the gua sha. Send us an email. Thank you. Text me back, lights. You know how to do it. I don't need to tell you the number again. Okay. The podcast will be ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well.
Well, Megan.
Lindy. We did it. That's the show. You're hearing this on Thursday, February 20th. Depending on what time of day you're listening, it's not too late to come see us in Brooklyn, New York. Because Lindy and I, that's where we are right now. As you're listening to this, we're in the same room probably. I don't know, eating a snacky or something.
Not just any snacky, real Brooklyn pizza.
A big time Coney Island hot dog. And on Friday, February 21st, we are going to be recording an episode of Pop Culture Debate Club with our friend Big Ron. Nicolas Cage versus John Travolta. Ding, ding. It'll be like a big fight. You should come. And if you buy a ticket with our code POP40, you get 40% off. So come see us if you can. We're working on, I don't know, one day coming back to New York to do a more traditional show. So if you're a venue of New York, we're available. Okay.
We're available. Come on.
What the hell? Come on, dude.
Come
It'll be fun. The people are in the streets clamoring for it every day.
Just call us. Come on. Just call us.
Come on, son. Come on, son.
Just call us.
So yeah, and then we'll be back. Next time you hear us, it will be a live show. I don't know. It'll be exciting. It will be happening in front of people at a podcast conference called On Air Fest.
It's going to be really funny.
It's going to be really funny and you're going to love it. Lindy, what else you got going on?
Okay, well, here's one thing that I got going on. Do you remember in the fall when we did a live show at the Reeser Center in Beaverton, Oregon?
Do I? That's how I found out that when they were talking about Reeser, they were talking about the Reeser burrito people. And it blew my mind. I was like, what? You didn't have to pay us in cash. You could have paid us in frozen burritos. And I'm being serious. Those burritos are good.
1000%, Megan. I loved being a part of the burrito family so much that I am returning to the Reeser Center on March 6th to do my one-woman live show, Every Castle Ranked, in which I rank every castle from worst to best.
You simply must go. I have actually never seen it, which makes me sad. I would love to see it one day. Also, and not just because I'm in it.
Yeah,
for 14 seconds.
Prominently featured. No, like 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. So I go see it for me and let me know if you like it. But I've heard it's hilarious and cute, and it will make you feel various emotions if you're into that sort of thing. So,
and if you've seen it before, there might be some stuff in there that you haven't seen before. And I do think it's getting better and better each day. So March 6th at the Reeser in Beaverton, Oregon, a lovely town.
It's so cute. I love Beaverton, and I hope that one day Text Me Back, your beloved Text Me Back podcast, can make its triumphant return to Beaverton, Oregon, because we had a gas there.
Yeah, and Megan
right
and I
after the election,
we can make our triumphant return to Red Robin.
Oh, please don't get me fucking hooked on the wide angle fries. Don't get me excited about wide angle fries. There's nowhere for me to get them here. Now I'm depressed. But we'll put a link to the show in the show notes. So clicky. Tickets going fast, I have to assume, because it's America's top castle program.
Yes. So all the castle experts from across the land are flying their dragons and riding their horses to the box office.
We're talking Kevin Castle, Richard Castle, Dave Castle. They're all on the way. So don't miss your chance to be among the illustrious castle people.
Come see me. Okay? Thank you.
Okay? There might be a burrito in it for you. There won't. I can't promise that. I'm running out of steam and I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
That's just fine, Megan, because we're in the closeout.
The show is over now.
The show is over now. It's just time for one last...
I'm kind of like Chonkay.
Chonkay.
And as a member of the Chunky community, Chonkay American community, I'm going to go downstairs and eat some chicken.
With your main mayonnaise.
That's my main mayonnaise.
So good.
It's called chicken salad when you take Chonkay of chicken and you mix it with your main mayonnaise.
Something for some crunch, perhaps?
Maybe a chopped up pickle?
It's a chicken salad.
That's what I'm going to go do, Megan.
Okay, girl. Goodbye.
Okay, girl.
And goodbye to everybody listening. We love you. Mwah. And thank you to the Media Board. Keep doing what you're doing, Media Board.
It goes on for 45 seconds.
Oh, Lord. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Text Me Back. If you like the show, please tell your best friend about us. Be sure to rate and review us. It helps people find the show. And most importantly, please support our Patreon so we can keep making this. It's patreon.com/textmebackpod. Text Me Back is a production of Meagan and Lindy, proud members of the BFF Network. Our senior producer is Megan Hatcher-Mays. Our other senior producer is me. Our show is supported by Co-Pilot Collective and produced by Allie Slice. Our digital strategist is Chance Nichols.
Diana Bowen is our video and creative wizard. Our production team includes Lindy West, Megan Hatcher-Mays, our loves, our anxieties, and our fears.
Our music is by Chief Ahamefule J. Oluo.
Special thanks to our perfect angels, Jeannie Yandel, Brandy Fullwood, and Isolde Raftery.
I'm Lindy West.
And I'm Megan Hatcher-Mays. See you next week. Mwah!